Let's try to focus now on questions 8, 14, and 15, all of which are tied together by the fact that they have either a product or a quotient property embedded into the question. So for example, in question number 8, you can see that we would have to use the product property because of that plus sign. We saw that in the previous set of videos. The plus sign is an automatic indicator that a product property is to be used. So, because I want to merge together or condense together the two separate logs that have the plus sign between them, I know that I'll condense that by calling it log base 3, still a like term. But I'll multiply what's inside the logs. X times 9 is 9x. Now there's still an equal sign and still a 2, and I can tell that the 2 doesn't have anything to do with what's going on over here on the left, mostly because when I look at it, I can see that it doesn't have a log base 3, so there's no way that it's going to be connected to the product property anyway, and it's on the other side of the equation. We know that the product property is generally only for things that are directly connected by addition, so the 2 wasn't directly connected, therefore not part of the product. But now that I look at this, it does start to look more familiar because this starts to look like all the other circled problems that I did before. Now it has a log on one side, an integer on the other side, and I can rewrite it exponentially. So I could say 3 to the power of 2 is equal to 9x. This now seems way more instinctive to solve because 3 squared is 9 equals 9x. And now I can tell that x must be 1. So the good news about problems like this is that once you utilize that product property, you get a very familiar problem again. And that's the goal, is to not necessarily treat things like number 8 as a separate problem, but rather to just make them look like all of the other problems with that one extra step. So problems 8, 14, and 15, all very similar in that regard. See if you can use that similar approach in numbers 14 and 15. I'll give you a hint. Problem 14 is another product property because you can see the plus sign on the left-hand side of the equation. And number 15 is going to be a quotient property because of the minus sign. So use number 8 as an example and see if you can try 14 and 15 utilizing the product and the quotient. It really isn't that different from all of the pink circle problems because the only difference is you're going to use the product or the quotient at the beginning and then you're just going to do the rest of the problem completely straightforward like the pink ones. So it's one extra step right off the bat, then everything else is familiar territory.